All right, guys, welcome to the case study. Today I'm going to be going over the state of dropshipping in 2019. So if you're a current dropshipper and you're doing well online with Shopify, I'm going to show you what you need to do to survive and do well this year. And if you're new and you're looking to get into dropshipping, I'm going to show you what you need to do to have success this year. So I'm also going to be going over why I abandoned my Shopify cash cow, which was the second fastest growing store of 2017. And I'm going to be going over, more importantly, what's working for me and my team now and what's continuing to crush over and over for us. Traditional dropshipping is just not working the way it used to. In 2016, it was really easy to make money on the front end with the general store. 2017, it was pretty easy too. In 2018, things started to change a little bit. We started our drop surfing movement, where we would take trending products that were already working in our database and selling them. And we still do a lot of that stuff, but we're using a two-store method now, along with some different Facebook ad testing that's allowing us to thrive over and over and over again, guys. I'm going to be going over this here in this presentation shortly. So, who is this case study for? Well, if you're currently on Amazon doing FBA, if you're a current dropshipper, if you're a current Shopify store owner, you're going to learn a lot in this case study. And if you're just looking to get into e-commerce but don't know where to start and you're at a beginner level, you can feel free to stay with us. We'll try to keep things as simple as possible, but it's not just a beginner case study. Who am I and what gives me the ability to give the state of dropshipping speech here in 2019? Well, I want to get to all the good stuff, so I'll try to be quick with my backstory. I didn't always have a background in dropshipping and e-commerce. What I did for years actually was struggle without any profit over and over again, bringing in products from China. I flew out there. I would invest in inventory. We'd ship it back to the U.S. I would sell on Amazon, on Shopify, at trade shows, at events, and I built some pretty cool brands. But I was working super hard. I was working 16-hour days, and although I did millions of dollars in sales, the profits were slim, and my energy was, at a point where I was about to give up. I discovered dropshipping a few years back, actually on a webinar similar to this, and it totally changed my life around. I was able to sell the products that I was importing, but instead of actually spending money, sending it to China, waiting 90 days for it to get here, bringing it to a warehouse, shipping it out, trying to, all the additional hidden expenses, I would just find products and sell them on Shopify. And that's when I built the second fastest growing store of 2017 using this method. So from there, my store went from $0 to $2 million in 60 days, and we broke about $5 million in our first year. And I got a bunch of press, a bunch of notoriety. People started reaching out to me, and my DMs started flooding. And actually what was the best part about it was that so many people were reaching out for help that I started providing some education to people who wanted to learn. And since then, we now have thousands of people in our community that are learning and getting better at that. And to me, that's the most fulfilling thing that I have going, is being able to help other people now. So here's a screenshot of the Gadget Snob the first year. It did almost $5 million in sales, and I was able to achieve this using a method called drop surfing. All right, guys, so the store did $2 million in 60 days and nearly $5 million in its first year. What do you think it's doing right now? Well, clearly it's doing nothing. What do you think happened to it? Well, I'll get into that in a bit. We're going to be going over the current state of the market and why the e-commerce is booming is a myth. We're going to be going over suppliers, and I'll share a story about my abusive relationship with AliExpress and Overlow, and how I overcame that and how we're doing well now. I'm going to be showing you a store evolution. So what used to work with building stores last year doesn't work now. I'm going to show you what we're doing now. I'm going to also be showing you our Facebook ad strategy, guys, and this is something that we haven't shared yet. This is a brand new ad strategy. Personally, I invest $75,000 a year flying around the world, going to masterminds, and learning from some of the best people in the world. So the ad strategy we're using is not only constructed from our team, but it's constructed from some of the best people in the world. And then, last but not least, I'm going to go over forecasting and how you can stay ahead of the curve and how you can have consistent profit this year. So, first things first, e-commerce is booming, right? what traditional drop shipping is dying. It's competitive. I want to show you guys what's going on here. So what do I mean by e-commerce is dying? Well, if you look at projections, in 2019, we're going to exceed $500 billion in online sales. And that's going to keep rising for the foreseeable future. And most people are seeing this money and saying, oh my God, I want to be a part of that industry. I just want a little piece of that. But the problem is, whose pocket is this money going into? That's the real question, right? And it doesn't matter if you're in an industry that's booming if your business is not. Well, guess what, guys? Amazon is using drop shippers and their sellers to find out what's working so that they can sell it themselves. They're luring people in and they're letting them test products with their own money so that they don't need to test products with their money. So they'll know what to sell. They know everything about what you're selling, right? If you're selling a product on Amazon, they know what it costs you. They know where it's shipping from because you're getting it shipped to their warehouses, and they know exactly how much it's selling. So they're letting hundreds of thousands of people test products for them. And then what works, they actually go in, make their own product of, and then of course it's their platform, so it outperforms the products that people were selling. So they're letting people do the testing for them. And it's getting pretty crazy. Now they're making all their own products, even their own movies. But guys, the bottom line is that most drop shippers and Amazon sellers will be out of business in 2 years. It's a sad fact, but the good news is that you could stay in business if you stay on top of what's working. So the only way to compete with Amazon is to have a quality product, provide amazing customer support, and fish in different ponds that Amazon doesn't compete in. That means get traffic from different sources. Amazon's a monster, but they're not everywhere. And there's ways to make a lot of money being in different ponds. And oftentimes, these are the 3 hardest things for dropshippers to do. So I'm going to go over my love-hate relationship with AliExpress and Oberlo. If you're wondering why the Gadget Snob is no longer active, well, I'm going to tell you a little story. My store went from 0 to $2 million in 60 days, which is pretty crazy growth. That means when the first few days we were doing about $1,000 or $2,000 a day in sales, and it was amazing. And I started scaling and using these duplication methods that I use, and I got the store up to doing about $50,000 a day in sales, meaning we were doing about 2,000 orders a day. And it was all great. I was sending a bunch of money to China. They were sending us tracking numbers. We were fulfilling the orders, and it was a great machine until about 2 months later. I was on a trip in Thailand, and I was having a great time. I was about to fly back to the U.S. in 2 days. And one of our virtual assistants reached out to me and said, hey, Jared, about 50 tracking numbers aren't working. And I was thinking, 50 tracking numbers, we have 2,000 orders. You know what? Can you just try to figure it out? I'm not concerned. You'll figure it out. Didn't really think much about it. The next day, she reaches back out to me and says, hey, Jared, so far we've identified 150 tracking numbers that aren't working. Keep in mind, I have to fly back from Thailand the next morning, which is about a 24-hour journey. So now I'm thinking, 150 tracking numbers, that's weird, but can you just dig into it, reach out to the supplier, see what's going on? Then that next morning, right before my flight, she goes, Jared, we've identified 350 tracking numbers that aren't working. So now I was starting to get concerned, but I had to take off back to the U.S. So I traveled for about 24 hours, no phone. I get back to the U.S., I have a lot on my mind, but the first thing I think of is what's going on with these tracking numbers. So I reach out to the VA right when I land, and she says, hey, Jared, there's so far about 1,000 tracking numbers that aren't working. And if you imagine our average order value is about $50, that's $50,000 worth of orders that have fake tracking numbers, or the tracking numbers weren't working. We weren't sure yet. But that means that customers were getting tracking numbers that weren't working. So at this point, I'm starting to get really concerned. And I reached out to Oberlo, and we got to the bottom of it, and we found out that that supplier was scamming us. They shipped out, well, they claimed to have shipped out 7,000 orders, and they gave us fake tracking numbers and never shipped out the product. So I had to then go and refund all these people their money. I lost the money on the ads, and I lost the money on the products. Now, as anyone who's been through difficult times, that wasn't the end of my business. I came back, And as I said, we did about $5 million on that store. So at that point, we're only at $2 million. So the rest of the year, we did another $3 million. So we did come back and persevere. But what happened was, with all those fake tracking numbers, we got so many complaints, and it started killing us. I mean, you can see here with the negative reviews on the Better Business Bureau, people don't like our business. And what happens with that is that Facebook actually starts surveying people that you serve ads to, and if they leave you negative reviews, Facebook throttles your ads, and that's what happened to us with the Gadget Snob. So eventually, we shut down the store. So you need to have quality products, and AliExpress has turned into a Craigslist. You know, there's still a lot of great legit suppliers, but there's a whole lot of scammers and wannabe suppliers out there. So are all suppliers listing a wholesale price? Absolutely not. Sometimes you'll go on AliExpress and you'll find the same product cheaper on Amazon. Are you always buying direct from the factory? Actually, you're probably never buying direct from the factory. There's trading companies who deal with middlemen, who deal with trading companies who put it on AliExpress. So your prices are inflated. Is the product always high quality? No, just simply not. These companies are trying to cut corners and save money, so they're shipping out whatever they have to ship out. And will there be inventory or shipping issues? Pretty often you're going to have shipping issues and you're going to run out of inventory. So just like buying on Craigslist, you need to be able to quickly determine who's legit and who is a straight scammer on AliExpress. I'm sure you guys have seen, and if you haven't, we have a platform here called ehproductfinder.com. And now there's about 1,178 products on here. They're products that are trending from all around the internet. That means that these are hot products that other people are selling, right? And let's go ahead and click on one. Not only do we give you the product cost and the selling price and your profit margin, but we're also giving you links to suppliers. So when you click on a link here, we're sending you to a vetted supplier on AliExpress so you know how to not be scammed. Let's go on another product here. Let's say this plate tray drying rack. Product costs $2. You can sell it for $15. You make a profit margin of 12. And not only that, but we have a video here for you. And then if you go over here to the link, AliExpress, here you go. Here's a supplier that you can buy from. So now that we went over suppliers and how to avoid getting scammed, I want to go over something really exciting, which is the store evolution and how we're drop surfing into harbors. Now, the old way of drop shipping would be browse on Amazon and Facebook for high selling products, launch on Amazon or Kickstarter and pray for sales, get intent-based traffic, which means using Google AdWords. When people search your product, you're hoping that they buy yours, and make a 5 to 10% margin. That's the old way of drop shipping. With drop surfing, I only sell viral products proven to sell fast. So we're riding profitable trends and we stay lean. We're launching on Shopify and controlling our buyer data. We get impulse traffic. So we're using Facebook ads and creatives to create demand. And we're making 30 to 40% profit margins on these products. I'm going to show you some of these stores in a minute. The only issue with only drop surfing and using a general store is that you'll make lots of money in bursts, but revenue isn't predictable. Some months you may do $100,000, some months you may be doing $10,000. You don't build any brand equity. Most viral products just die and you never sell them again. And you end up not feeling proud of your store and the products you sell. So what we've been doing is we've been building drop surfing general stores where we test products. You see on the left here, we always have at least one of these running where we're testing new products. We're testing products from EH Product Finder every single day. We're riding the existing trends. We're learning how to market the product, and we're making money. We're profitable in this store. But when we find a product that's winning, we build a single product niche store, as you can see here on the right. And what we do here is right now we have 7 of these running. So we can have as many as we want. And the good thing about these niche stores is that you're seasoning your Facebook pixel. For some of you beginners, you may not know what that means. But for those of you involved with e-commerce and Shopify, you know what that means. You're sending traffic to a certain type of product, so you're getting buyers easier and easier with the Facebook pixel. We're focused on building data, we're building a cult-like community, and we're building brand equity. So these niche stores on the right are what's really killing it for us. So you can see here, one of our niche stores from September to November of 2018, which is pretty recent, did a little bit over $1 million in sales. And we have another store here from November to December 20th. So going into 2019, we did a little bit over $550,000 in sales. And these are stores that are building brand equity and are going to continue to grow through 2019. So next I'm going to go over traffic and how we're using hyperspeed testing, the most efficient way to test products with Facebook ads. I'm sure a lot of you guys have tested products and wasted money, maybe even spent thousands of dollars and didn't make many sales. Or maybe you made a few sales and just lost money and didn't know what to do. And the problem is that there's so many different ways to test products on Facebook. There's so many different methods, and there's so many different ways you can target people and so many different objectives you can use. But what I'm going to go over here is the method we're using to make sure that we holistically test a product so we're not missing out on anything, and at the same time waste as little amount of money as possible while knowing if that product's a winner or a loser by the end. So it's great to have the store, it's great to have the suppliers, but without traffic, you got nothing. So on Facebook, you need advertising that works. You need a creative, right, that people are attracted to. You need to find the right people. So who do you target? And you need to spend the optimal amount of money. So budgets. I'm going to get into a little bit more depth here. So with the creative, there's different things you can put on Facebook, right? There's photos, there's short videos, there's long videos, there's carousels, there's memes, and there's other stuff you can do too. When it comes to targeting, you can target very narrow. You can say, I just want 45-year-old women who like cats, right? That's a very narrow audience. Or you can say, I want women 35 to 45 who are into health. That's a bit of a broader audience. Or you may say, I just want women above 18 in the US, which is a very broad audience, right? And then for the budgets, we're talking about ad set budget here. You can spend any amount of money on an ad set, but depending on the price of your product and depending on the type of the product, the budget you set for your ad set is going to have an effect on the success of that ad set if you're on automatic bidding. So we're going to get into those in more detail in a second. So what we start with on each ad set is we have an ad with a photo, we have an ad with a carousel, we make a short video, a long video, and a meme, right? So if we're selling a phone case, we have a photo of that phone case, we have a carousel ad of that phone case, we have a quick 15-second video of that phone case, we have a long 1-minute video of that phone case, and then we have a meme of that phone case. And the reason we're doing this is because on each ad set, Facebook sends out, if we have these 5 different ads, we can start to see which ones are getting the cheapest engagement, which ones are getting the cheapest cost per clicks, and which ones we're going to use long term when this product is deemed a winner. So for targeting, we're creating ad sets with broad, semi-broad, and narrow targeting. So for every ad set we have, we're duplicating it 3 times, and we're changing the targeting. So for the first one, we want it to be 50 million plus people. Oftentimes, we'll just do US 18 plus, no targeting. Actually, on the store I showed you that did $550,000 in that month, I started by targeting nobody, just US 18 plus, because what happens there is your CPMs are very low. That's your cost per impression, because you're telling Facebook, hey, target anyone. So you're not paying for those certain people, right? We target semi-broad, which is, not just anyone, but let's say women who like fitness. Pretty broad, but it's not like, just target anyone, which means your CPMs are going to be a little bit higher, but the quality of traffic will be a little bit better. And then we target really narrow. So if we're selling, a wine shirt, we're going to target people who like wine, and we're going to try targeting women who are 45 who like wine. Now, that audience is going to cost us the most to target, but maybe that traffic is the highest quality. And when I say maybe all these times, I say that because we don't know what's the best, which is why we're testing all of these things. And then, last but not least, we duplicate all of those 3 ad sets into 4 more ad sets, and we test different budgets. So we're testing a $3 a day budget, $5 a day budget, $10 a day budget, and a $20 a day budget. And why do we do that? Well, we do that because when you're on automatic bid, which is what we're doing when we're testing, the amount of money that you give Facebook to spend determines what your bid is going to be, in turn, which determines what your cost per purchase is going to be. So if you're selling a product that costs $12, it could be a $3 budget or a $5 budget that gets you the best cost per purchase. But if you give Facebook $20 to spend, they may just spend $20 and you may get one purchase. They may bid more for you in your automatic bid. And I say maybe and I say may because we don't know, which is why we're testing. So going over creative, targeting, and budgets, we're pretty much covering the whole playing field. And by the end of the day, we know if a product's a winner. And if it's a winner, we go and build a niche store for it, and we scale that store. So we went over the market, we went over suppliers, we went over store evolution and what kind of stores we're building. We went over traffic, and now I want to go over forecast and how to stay ahead of the curve. A few months back, I had the pleasure of meeting Michael Jordan and going to his house. Crazy story. I'm not going to get into detail now, but I definitely wanted to take advantage of being there and learn from him. So I had the second fastest growing Shopify store of 2017, and I'd done over $5 million in sales, but I was struggling, and haters were everywhere. Everyone wanted to see me fail. Not because they didn't like me, maybe some of them didn't, but because they wanted to prove to themselves that by them not doing what I was doing, it was the right decision. And self-doubt never goes away. MJ explained to me how people said he would never repeat after Title 1. He said people said it was a fluke. And then 6 titles later, what happened? But he knew he couldn't do it alone. He worked trainer Tim Glover to consistently get better. Student of the game. He picked the brains of those before him, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, etc. I know it's not as cool as the NBA championships, but I'm proud to say I've launched 5 more profitable stores after the Gadget Snob, and I'm not a one-hit wonder. And I want to go down as Hall of Fame level. So how do you do it? Well, your income will be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And as I said before, I spend about $75,000 a year trying to get ahead of the curve, paying for mentorship, going around the world, and learning what's working best. And that's the only way to be the best, is by learning from the best. I don't care what anyone says. That is the only way. So the bottom line, guys, the future belongs to e-commerce store owners and dropshippers who can adapt and who are consistently looking to improve and change and stay ahead of the competition. And I want that mentorship for you. So what is your plan? Are you going to take what you've learned today and just forget it all and think maybe I'll do it, I'll do it sometime? Well, let me tell you something. Sometime never comes. You're going to be thinking of the right time to do something and you're never going to do it. Maybe you're already doing it. And you're going to keep doing the same things over and over again. And eventually you're going to get burnt out, because when you can consistently do the same thing over and over again and expect to get different results, even if you're making minor changes, you get exhausted. And I don't want that for you. I don't want your business to fall apart and you to fail and give up and try something else. What I want for you is to build a business that makes the money that you want and actually changes lives. And it gives you a reason to get out of bed in the morning and do awesome stuff and feel really good. So here's what I have for you. My team and I have set aside some time here in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally. You can get on the phone with someone from my team, and we could talk to you about how to apply these things to your business, and we can change your business and turn things around. Whether it's finding the right products for your store or driving traffic, we've seen it all, guys. This is not new to us. So whatever your biggest challenges are, we're here to help you with. And on this session, we'll actually work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan on how to launch your store and hit your income goals for the year. Now, this will literally cost nothing. You can schedule a call today for free. And who's this for? It's pretty much for anyone who's committed and anyone who can allocate at least 4 hours a week to building an e-commerce business. It's for someone who listens to instructions and is coachable. If you're not coachable and you're stuck in your ways, don't bother. But if you're coachable and you're willing to take immediate action, this is for you. I have a system that works. And if you're a know-it-all type of person, that's not going to work for us. But you must hold yourself to the highest standards of integrity. If that's you guys, if you're able to do all these things, then I am encouraging you to schedule a call now. And why am I doing this? Well, Because over the last few years, we've grown a community of people in the e-commerce space, and it's become more than just a hobby. It's become a passion. Our community has grown to thousands of people. You know, people that are in our program, it's limited, but people that are in our community and our email list and our Facebook groups, it's growing and growing and growing, and we love giving back and helping entrepreneurs. Plus, we know that you may want our help, and if so, we can discuss it and see if it's a good fit. If it's not, that's all good too. So go ahead, guys, ecomhacksacademy.com/apply. If you've been watching this video, a button has probably popped up a few minutes ago where you can just click and apply. And if it's a good fit, you'll get on the phone with someone from our team. And if that works and it makes sense to work with us, I will see you on the other side. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Best of luck with everything. And I wish you the most prosperity in 2019 with your e-commerce store. See you soon.